Welcome to my YouTube channel where we demonstrate and discuss everything related to theatrical and entertainment production crafts. Please subscribe to get the latest updates, posts, and demonstrations. While I will focus primarily on safety in the shops and comprehensive training and operating procedures for tools and machinery, I'll also demonstrate and discuss practical applications like flat and platform construction, scene painting, and more. If you'd like to see something specific, please let me know in the comments. Once again, please subscribe and power up the alert bell to get the most up-to-date notifications about new content. One of the easiest ways to take this plywood, which has this wood grain in it and is not the best, smoothest painted surface, and is going to have all the imperfections from our construction, splintering on the edges or some variations, or my platforms aren't going to go together, but there's going to be some small 1/16 of an inch gaps in the plywood, and I need to smooth all that out, is I'm going to want to cover it with another material so that I can do my finished painting on that other material. And the common material that we use for covering is 1/4 inch Masonite, 1/4 inch tempered Masonite. Not just any sort of Masonite or hardboard. We want tempered and we want sanded both sides. We want this to be the stiff Masonite, not the flopsy-wopsy untempered stuff, and not the stuff that's rough edged on one side. It's just a little too flexible if it's not tempered. It's too wavy, and that's going to absorb water. It's going to buckle. It's going to do some weird things on stage and on our platforms. Masonite is usually our top surface, and the Masonite gives us the added benefit of being able to paint this surface separate from the platform constructions, and we can install it later. And it also gives us the benefit of adding some sound deadening. This is a very dense material. It's basically sawdust and wood particulates all compressed and heated and glued together into a very, very dense material, and that creates a nice sound absorptive barrier that will deaden the sound of footsteps and plastic heels, and it will prevent some of that transferring into the big echo chamber underneath the platforms. Every time we build a platform, we're going to be, we're going to be a foot off the ground, we're going to be 2 feet, 4 feet, and it's going to be a big empty resonant space underneath there that all the sounds of walking on the platforms is just going to echo, echo, echo. When we want to soundproof our platforms, we have a couple of different options. We can try to fill all that void with stuff, whether it's foam underneath the platform or carpet or rolled up carpet or bunched up stuff or anything to absorb it and deflect the sound, or we can treat the surface. I'm a big fan of treating the surface. This is our standard platform with 1x6 framing and plywood lid and no treatment on top. We can consider this kind of like a hard heel walking on that platform. It's going to be more echoey in a platform that is actually set up. If we add just a layer of Masonite to that, it's already more dead than it was before. It just echoes right through that plywood and just becomes a big resonant speaker under there. But just adding that Masonite, it's already a lot more dead. And that's usually good for a lot of our set construction. Just add a layer of Masonite. Of course, we're also adding the cost of the Masonite into the construction, but it is a much better, smoother surface, much better for painting, much better for creating floors that we will actually see on stage than trying to paint on a bare plywood surface. If I want to get more soundproofing than that, I can add some other materials. I can add this material called Celotex, which is sometimes called soundboard, or is used sometimes as bulletin board material. Or I can get Upson board, which is a different brand name. Celotex and Upson board are brand names for types of sound deadening board. This Upson board is a little bit stiffer, The Celotex has got a little more flex to it. This one doesn't have any flex to it. Got to really work on it. It's got a very minimal flex. This is also softer and will more easily break under force. So it's a little more delicate, but the Celotex is sometimes easier to come by and easier to find in your local lumberyard. So here I've got my platform framing. I've got my 3/4 inch plywood. I've got my 1/2 inch Upson board and my 1/4 inch Masonite. Sounds very similar to just a straight Masonite. A little more dead, but I'm creating a really hard sound here. It's going to be more tapping like that. If someone's clicking their heels, we're not doing tap dancing, but this is going to absorb all that footsteps, and less of it's going to transmit and get to the echo chamber under the platform. Here's the same sample with our platform framing, our plywood lid, our Celotex, our other brand, which is a little softer and spongier, and our 1/4 inch Masonite. The problem with the Celotex is that it also compresses a whole lot more. So if you overscrew things, it's going to create some variations in your surface. When we're legging up our platforms, we need to know what we're putting on top of the platforms as our final surface so that we can leg things up appropriately. If we are legging our platforms up and putting nothing on the surface, then this is our final surface. Then if we want this to be 12 inches, we need to subtract that 3/4 of an inch from our leg and cut our leg to 11 1/4 inch. 11 1/4 plus 3/4 will add up to 12 inches, and that will give us a 12 inch platform. If we're legging up a platform that has Masonite on top, now we need to do the 3/4 plus the 1/4, so now we have to subtract a full inch from that leg. So then if our platform is going to have plywood and Masonite and we want it to be at 12 inches, we're going to cut our legs to 11 inches. Likewise, if we're using the 3/4 inch plywood plus the 1/2 inch Celotex plus the 1/4 inch Masonite, now we need to subtract 3/4 plus 1/2 plus 1/4, which is another 3/4. So that's 1.5 inches, right? We now need to subtract 1.5 inches from our leg. So if we're going to do all that soundproofing, we need to cut our legs to 10.5 inches. 10.5 inches plus 1.5 inches will be 12 inches. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time with more technical theater content.